Tim?
Steve, just what were the emotions as you saw, well, Brandon wasn't feeling great, and then Jimmy go down, right, kind of in a real quick succession there. What were you thinking? What was that emotion like?
There's really no time to even feel any emotion. You just respond and react with what you have to do in terms of, making a sub and trying to think about new substitution patterns, who you want to pair together, all that kind of stuff. So obviously feel terrible for Jimmy. Hopefully he's okay. We'll see. He's going to get an MRI tomorrow. And BP, really proud of him for making the effort. He's been feeling terrible all day, and he tried. He got an IV at halftime, just didn't have it. So tough night. We'll bounce back.
Talk to Jimmy at all post-game?
Yeah.
Are you optimistic, or are you just kind of?
Jimmy always says he's going to be fine. But we have to wait to see with the MRI.
What did you think of the foul, or how he went down? Did you think it was in?
I haven't seen the replay. I asked our guys behind the bench, and they just said it looked like there was some physicality on the rebound, and I think Thompson inadvertently found himself underneath Jimmy just based on the tug of war that was going on there. So we didn't think there was anything wrong with the play. It's just one of those plays.
What did you generally think of just kind of the physicality and tension that seems to be rising in this series?
Yeah, Houston played great. They were really physical. Just like we expected, they came out with amazing force defensively, and obviously Green got going, and that loosened our defense up quite a bit, and so it was their night. They played a great game at both ends of the floor, and so we just got to lick our wounds and back to work tomorrow.
You got Steve. You got pretty hot in the first quarter. Got pretty contentious. What were you talking about there? What was your?
Just the usual stuff. It's playoff time. Everybody's hyped up. I think I was mad because Gary got tripped. Gary had a dunk, clearly got tripped, and I thought there should have been a foul called, and it wasn't. But the stuff happens, and I thought tonight's game was all about Houston just outplaying us.
Did you say anything to Draymond after that fourth quarter? It seemed like he got a little chippy.
I haven't talked to Draymond yet. So it's he's a competitor. He's always going to be in the mix, and so I'll ride with Draymond forever. The guy's an amazing winner and competitor, and it's not ideal when a crowd is chanting "F you, Draymond." It's just I don't know. It did it in Boston a few years ago in the finals. It is what it is.
Is that something that you guys talk about prior to the game?
I'm sorry?
Is that something you guys talked to Draymond about prior to the games?
No, he's been around forever. He's an instigator. He's always going to be in the mix, and because of his career, his championships, his fire, he's going to be a lightning rod, and that's all part of it. I would prefer, if fans could use a little more discretion and, remember that, the guy has kids, and, it's like there's kids. I don't know. Maybe I'm old school, but I'm all for the fans cheering for their team, and if they want to yell at the opponents, great, but I don't know. I just think FU it's a little much.
Steve, after Jimmy went out, did you notice the Warriors maybe keying on Steph a little bit, or what did you notice from how they defended you
after
all?
Jimmy went out?
After Jimmy went out.
Well, they were keyed on Steph anyway. They're going to be really aggressive. They're going to blitz him. Obviously, we've got to be able to counter that. We had too many turnovers. against that pressure. So they were blitzing him, and they got the ball out of his hands a little bit, and we weren't able to counter and generate enough good offense to win the game.
Obviously, you've always got to be ready to play, even if you're out of the rotation. Did you feel like Jonathan was ready? What did you see
Yeah,
from
Jonathan
him?
was ready. He's been great. He's been preparing every single day, keeping a great attitude. Game one, he was on the bench cheering the entire time. He's a great young guy. JK's an awesome young guy, and his teammates respect him and pull for him. And he stayed ready and got some minutes, and it's good because we may need him, and he needed to develop a little rhythm after missing the last few games.
Specifically, if Jimmy is out or limited, is Kuminga the natural next kind of guy into the rotation?
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. I mean, we have to. If Jimmy's out, we have to rethink, everything like rotations and who starts and the best combinations and all that stuff.
Kind of following up on that, I mean, obviously Jimmy's a great, invaluable player, but how does your dynamic change, and how will it have to change if he can't play in Game 3?
I think it's just too early for me to even talk about that. We have to watch the film, and we have to figure out, what our plan would be. This is the playoffs. This is, it's an incredibly physical sport. Stuff happens, people get injured, and it's all part of it. And there's no time to lament anything. You can feel bad for your player, but you have to move on to what's next. And so that's hopefully Jimmy will be able to play. But if not, then we've got to go through our options and put together a plan.
Having rewatched the film, what did you think of how they defended Steph?
How they defended Steph? Well, they were physical with him, blitzed him quite a bit. He got himself into a couple of spots where he got into trouble with the dribble, but he's Steph Curry. I mean, he's just amazing what he's able to play through, physicality, blitzing, trapping, all that stuff. So he did a great job. We just didn't have enough tonight.
What did you think of your guys' competitive level? You got Pat Spencer jumping in with 9 points.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Do you think there was a fight shown by you guys?
No, it was a great fight by our guys. I thought Loon came in, gave us really good minutes. For Pat to just come off the bench and give us some offense and generate some good possessions. Quentin Post knocking down some threes. I thought our guys really fought, and it's a 10-point game after the first quarter. That's when they really kind of punched us in the mouth, and we hung in there. We didn't make it all the way back, but we competed and we hung in there, and proud of the guys.
How do you view splitting the first two games on the road? What kind of
Does that put you guys in?
Well, we
going
wanted two, but we didn't get two. We got one, and they're a hell of a team. They're the 2 seed for a reason, and so it's a good trip. Not a great trip, but it's a good trip, and excited to get home and play in front of our home crowd.
Steve, was Gary okay? Because it looked like he was stretching out his back on the sideline.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Draymond Green and Stephen Curry reach playoff milestones, but Warriors fall to Rockets in Game 2. In a night full of historic achievements, the Golden State Warriors couldn't secure a win against the Houston Rockets, falling 109-94 in Game 2 on Wednesday. Despite strong individual performances from their stars, the Warriors were dealt a tough blow with injuries and illnesses. Draymond Green made history, becoming the Warriors' all-time leader in playoff games played, while Stephen Curry reached another incredible milestone, joining the exclusive club of NBA players with over 4,000 career playoff points. But despite their accomplishments, the Warriors couldn't overcome a scorching performance from the Rockets' Jalen Green, who poured in 30 of his 38 points in just 3 quarters, and Alperen Sengun, who finished with a double-double of 17 points and 16 rebounds. Draymond Green becomes Warriors' playoff games leader. Wednesday's game marked Draymond Green's 159th career playoff game, making him the franchise leader in postseason appearances. Green now sits in 5th place among active players for most playoff games, trailing only LeBron James, 289 games, Al Horford, 188 games, Kevin Durant, 170 games, and James Harden, 168 games. Green's playoff experience is evident, and his leadership continues to shine through. He's now tied with Klay Thompson for the most playoff wins in Warriors history, with 108 victories, just behind LeBron James, 184 wins, among active players. In Game 2, Green contributed 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 three-pointers, and 1 block in 31 minutes. While the Warriors faced a tough loss, Green's milestone only adds to his legacy as a cornerstone of the team's dynasty. Stephen Curry reaches 4,000 career playoff points. As for Stephen Curry, it didn't take long for him to add to his growing list of playoff achievements. With his first basket of the game, Curry became just the 11th player in NBA history to surpass 4,000 career playoff points. He now joins an elite group of scorers, sitting behind only LeBron James, 8,202 points, and Kevin Durant, 4,985 points, on the active list. Curry also extended his record as the all-time leader in playoff three-pointers, adding 4 more to his tally in Game 2. Although the Warriors couldn't pull out the win, Curry's relentless pursuit of greatness is evident, and his scoring continues to set him apart in the postseason. Warriors struggle with injuries and illnesses. In addition to the challenges on the court, the Warriors were hit with injury and illness issues. Brandon Podziemski, who entered the game despite feeling unwell, managed to play just 8 minutes in the first half before being sidelined. Meanwhile, Jimmy Butler III was forced to exit early in the first quarter after taking a hard fall while attempting a rebound. The injury, a pelvic contusion, ended Butler's night early, further depleting the Warriors' depth. In the absence of Butler, the Warriors turned to their bench, rotating through 12 players in the first half. Jonathan Kuminga and Pat Spencer, who saw playoff action for the first time this series, both made an impact. Spencer impressed in his debut, scoring 9 points in the second quarter on 4 of 6 shooting. Kuminga, meanwhile, finished with 11 points on 12 attempts in 26 minutes. An explosive three-point shooting display. In a thrilling second quarter, both teams caught fire from beyond the arc. The Warriors and Rockets traded 6 consecutive three-pointers, with each team hitting 3 in a row. The Rockets' Alperen Sengun sparked the run, and Buddy Hield responded with a 3 for the Warriors. Then, Fred VanVleet answered with his own 3, followed by Stephen Curry nailing 1 just seconds later. The back-and-forth continued, with Jalen Green finishing the night with 8 three-pointers, tying a Rockets playoff record. Warriors adjusting to injuries. Post steps up. With Butler out, the Warriors had to adjust their lineup, opting for a bigger lineup with Quinton Post at center. Post provided solid floor spacing, knocking down 4 three-pointers and scoring his first-ever points in the playoffs. His shooting was just 1 three-pointer shy of the Warriors' rookie playoff record for threes in a game, set by Harrison Barnes. Despite the Warriors' setbacks, Post's contribution offers a glimmer of hope for the team's depth moving forward in the series. The Warriors face critical challenges heading into Game 3. While individual milestones were reached, the Warriors left Houston with more questions than answers. Injuries and illness have compounded their struggles, leaving the team without some of its key contributors. Jimmy Butler III's early exit with a pelvic contusion was a major setback. His presence on both ends of the court, especially defensively, had been crucial for the Warriors in previous games. His absence left a glaring hole in the lineup that the Rockets were quick to exploit, particularly in transition. Brandon Podziemski's brief appearance in the game also highlighted the Warriors' thin margin for error. Although he's shown promise throughout the season, being forced to leave the game due to illness put additional pressure on the Warriors' already deep rotation. For a team that relies on its dynamic depth, especially during playoff runs, such unforeseen setbacks are hard to overcome. The Rockets capitalize on Warriors' missteps. The Rockets, on the other hand, were relentless. Jalen Green's explosive performance in the first 3 quarters, where he dropped 30 points, set the tone for Houston's dominance. Green was everywhere, hitting 8 three-pointers and making a case for himself as a rising star in the playoffs. His performance overshadowed the Warriors' defensive efforts, and the Rockets seized momentum early, leaving Golden State chasing the game. Alperen Sengun's double-double with 17 points and 16 rebounds was also instrumental in the Rockets' victory. Sengun provided the kind of inside presence and versatility that the Warriors had difficulty handling. The Rockets capitalized on the Warriors' injuries, exploiting the lack of a consistent defensive anchor in the paint. Stephen Curry continues to shine, but needs more help. Stephen Curry, despite the loss, continued to demonstrate why he's one of the best to ever play the game. His milestone of surpassing 4,000 career playoff points solidified his place in NBA history, and his scoring and playmaking kept the Warriors in the game for stretches. However, even Curry's brilliance wasn't enough to overcome the overall lack of cohesion and depth the Warriors showed in Game 2. Curry's 20 points and 9 assists weren't quite enough to counterbalance the Rockets' balanced offensive attack. While Curry did his part, his teammates struggled to match his level of production. With Butler and Podziemski sidelined, and with the rest of the Warriors bench seeing limited contributions, it became clear that the team would need to find its rhythm again before Game 3. A crossroads for the Warriors. As the series shifts back to San Francisco, the Warriors now find themselves at a crossroads. They need to quickly adapt to the injuries and get their rotations back on track if they hope to regain control of the series. The absence of Butler is particularly concerning, as his role as both a defensive stopper and a secondary playmaker was pivotal for Golden State's success in the regular season. Without him, the Warriors will need to rely even more on their seasoned veterans and emerging role players to step up. The Warriors' coaching staff, led by Steve Kerr, will undoubtedly be reviewing film from Game 2 and making adjustments. While the Rockets were able to exploit Golden State's defensive lapses and take advantage of the Warriors' injuries, Kerr will likely emphasize increased defensive intensity, ball movement, and finding ways to free up Curry for easier shots. Getting players like Klay Thompson, who only had 12 points on 4 of 10 shooting in Game 2, into a better offensive flow will be key. The rising tension of the series. This series is shaping up to be a true test of Golden State's resilience. The Warriors have the talent, but the Rockets, led by Green and Sengun, have shown that they won't back down. Houston's young core is hungry to prove itself, and they are ready to take advantage of any crack in the Warriors' armor. As the Warriors head back to the Chase Center for Game 3, the stakes couldn't be higher. The defending champions will need to regroup and come together as a unit if they want to fend off the Rockets and take control of the series. It's clear that the road ahead won't be easy, but with Curry's leadership and Green's experience, the Warriors know they have the tools to fight their way back. Looking ahead, will the Warriors bounce back? For Golden State, Game 3 will be about more than just recovering from a loss. It will be about survival. The Warriors cannot afford to drop another game, especially with the Rockets gaining confidence. With players like Curry, Green, and Thompson, the Warriors certainly have the star power to respond, but they'll need to tap into their championship pedigree and prove that they can adjust to the challenges that lie ahead. The playoff battle between the Warriors and Rockets is far from over, and with the Warriors now facing a potential must-win scenario, fans can expect an electric atmosphere in Game 3. The Rockets are hungry, the Warriors are wounded, and the series promises to deliver even more drama in the games to come.